actually to come up with words to describe it or to fit the moment, but this is a horrible, unspeakable event that affected our community, affected our workforce, and obviously affected those directly involved. So our hearts go out to the folks that are directly affected. At Hennepin, this is what we do. We're a trauma center. We take care of the worst of the worst for injuries. So this is part of our daily work, but we're also human. So my teams are providing great care, and we'll give an update on events and conditions, but know that we feel pain along with our community in this circumstance. Specifics about folks that we're caring for: we currently have 9 patients that were involved in the shooting yesterday. 6 of those patients are in satisfactory condition. 5 of those patients are children. We have 2 patients in serious condition, 1 adult and 1 child, and we have 1 child in critical condition presently. That's about all the detail we'll be able to give out of respect for patient and family privacy. So I'm going to hand off to Marty Shear from our EMS services to help walk you guys through the events and the perspective. Thanks, Marty.
Good morning. My name is Marty Shear. It's Martyscherer. I'm the EMS chief for Hennepin EMS. I'll try to maybe answer a little statement, answer some questions that you want me to, Chris. From the EMS perspective, things went as well as they could be expected. We trained for this, and things went well on that part. But no matter how much you train for it, it's still really difficult on the team. I think there's a lot of maybe unrecognized heroes in this event, along with the children that were protecting other children, which is really amazing to hear about. I might be saying too much, but we had one kid that covered up another kid and took a shotgun blast to his back and things like that, and they were helping each other out. So the teachers were amazing. The teachers were, getting shot at. They were protecting the kids. They took all the kids outside to an area of safety, witnessed all this happen. The teachers were amazing. The kids were really upset, obviously, but they really did a great job of keeping the kids together, keeping them calm, and then taking them to an area of safety and really working with the parents. So the teachers were amazing. They're great. Minneapolis police was amazing. They entered the building. Their objective is to neutralize any shooter in there, and they did it without hesitation and immediately to the building, which is amazing. That doesn't happen everywhere. So Minneapolis police deserve a lot of credit for this. They also gave us a really good report of we have potentially 20 patients in there, and that helps us in many, many ways. We notified the hospitals what we have coming, and we try to separate some of our patients. So we take many of the patients that are critical to Hennepin, the level 1 trauma center for pediatrics. Then we take some to Children's Hospital there, less critical, and then we took some to North as well. So our whole team, our surgeons, the ED, everybody did a fabulous, fabulous job. But yes, it's really still tough on that team. Some people have asked, how do you triage the patients on the scene? So it's a really quick, in situations like this, it's pretty quick if they're conscious or not. If they have gunshot wounds to the upper body of the head, they're obviously red patients. Other people are going to be yellow patients. We try to load up 1 red patient, maybe 2 or 3 yellow patients in the ambulance, take them to the hospital. That all worked really, really well. Great response from our police, fire departments, and other EMS services. And like I said, we trained for this. Most of us all have kids, though, so it's still really, really hard for our team. But they're doing pretty well. We gave most of the people the day off today that were there yesterday, but they'll come back to work and do the same thing over again. So should I answer questions or save that for later? Yeah, questions later. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. Aaron Robinson, Aaron Robinson. I'm the assistant medical director at Hennepin EMS, and I'm also an emergency physician at Hennepin Healthcare. Yesterday was an incredibly tragic day. The medical directors were paged out a couple minutes after this had happened. And part of our job is to relay information and be a liaison between the hospital systems and the providers on scene. The earlier you activate a mass casualty incident, the better. We can mobilize resources faster, and we can get the folks and the equipment there that are needed to help best care for our most critical trauma patients. When I was en route, I contacted EMS Command, and they had information from police that were going to be upwards of 20 victims or more. With that information and the resources that I knew that Hennepin Healthcare had provided, I activated the MCI within a couple of minutes after knowing that, just to get resources mobilized and to get the folks there that needed to be in the upstaff or emergency department for patients to be received. In trauma, when you're talking about caring for a trauma patient in the pre-hospital setting out in the field, minutes and seconds matter. And our job in the pre-hospital setting is to perform life-saving interventions like stopping the bleeding or helping somebody breathe. But every minute that a trauma patient spends on scene increases their chance of not having a good outcome and possibly dying. So I have a huge credit to the Minneapolis Police Department and the other first responders that entered the scene and secured it quickly. The scene was safe in a few minutes after the initial incident, and I credit our brave first responders for doing that. That allowed us to get the patients in and to get them to definitive care very, very quickly. Those swift actions undoubtedly saved the lives of many of those children.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Tom Wyatt, W-Y-A-T-T. I'm chair of emergency medicine at Hennepin Healthcare. You know, the emergency department is the front door to our entire safety net organization. And while we deal with emergencies every day, it takes a lot of planning, preparedness, exercises, drills throughout the year to deal with an event such as what we experienced yesterday. So it was really very, very helpful to us, as Dr. Robinson mentioned, to get that pre-notification of the types of the numbers and the types of injuries that we were going to experience. And that allowed us to mobilize the appropriate resources. Here at Hennepin, you know, as a level 1 trauma center, both for adults and pediatric patients, we're able to mobilize a lot of resources very quickly. Luckily, this happened during the daytime and not the evening, so it was a lot easier for us to quickly mobilize some of those resources. The amount of resources and the amount of organization it takes to assemble those teams so that we can have a team ready for a patient when they come into our emergency department, when they arrive via EMS, is very impressive. And as I stated yesterday, I'm really proud to be part of this organization and all of the different components of the teams that we had yesterday. I listed some yesterday, and I know I missed some people, so I won't try to list them all, but there's a number of different specialists that come down to help us for these types of events. After the MCI response was over, as emergency providers, we unfortunately don't get to stop what we do. We have to continue working. We have to continue to see the patients that are continuing to arrive to the emergency department. We have to continue to work the shifts that we are already there for, and that can take a toll as well. Once you try to process what you experienced in a mass casualty event such as this. So again, we received an outpouring of support from the local communities from across the nation. I've received messages and support from chairs of other emergency departments across the country. It's just it's been very meaningful to us and our teams, so thank you for that. I want to introduce Dr. John Gakin, who's one of our head trauma surgeons.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming today. My name is John Gakin, one of the trauma surgeons, Jon, G as in George, Ayken. A lot has been said and a lot has happened over the last 24 hours. And the impact of yesterday's events will be felt throughout this community, through the country, and most notably through our hospital organization and the people that I work with. But I think it goes most importantly to be stated that this is really about the families and the people that are impacted at the shooting yesterday, and that we are just here to support them. I think the main message that I can portray is that, we like to stand here as a hospital just sort of quietly waiting and being ready for whatever the hospital or the community needs. And unfortunately, yesterday is something that I didn't think I would ever have to be part of, so I don't really have good words to describe it. But everybody in this hospital and this organization was there, and down to the EMS or the the housekeepers, the nurses that weren't even part of the, I'll tell a quick story because it emphasizes it. One of the victims came in, and in the emergency department, this was a nurse manager from another unit, didn't have anything to do with what we would normally respond to. And one of the children were very scared and alone because everybody was running about and doing their jobs. And she went into the CT scanner with the patient, putting herself basically in the harm's way of radiation, which normally would evacuate the room. She put a little lead on and stayed there and held her hand and held her hair while she went through the scanner so she didn't have to go through it alone. Those are the types of things we witnessed yesterday. I don't know that we can describe what they went through and what the actual events were like, nor I think we're supposed to be able to do that. But we can describe the things we saw from our team members and from our hospital. And it was as inspiring, as preserving for me as I can put words together. Taking care of one child that's injured is difficult. 8 of them is nearly impossible, but it happened yesterday. And so the teams that came together, that worked after the patients went out of the emergency rooms and they were triaged, the pediatricians, the neurosurgeons, the therapists, the pharmacists, sure I'm missing the medicine doctors, the other surgeons from other hospitals, our team, the outpouring of support from friends and family, past residents, past medical students, people of that just know what's going on. So I can't say enough other than thank you for the support. Our teams will need it.
Okay, then we'll answer some questions if anybody has some from anybody here.
This may show naivete, but at one point you had 10 patients coming in with gunshot wounds. I think you said about 4 of them needed surgery. I would almost assume 10 patients with gunshot wounds, all of them need surgery. What differentiated those that stayed in the ER for treatment and those that were able to, that required surgery?
I'll jump in right. One thing we're really blessed with here is our surgeons come down to the ED right away, and so I'll let the surgeons talk about it, or maybe.
Yeah, I
Dr.
think
White.
the way the trauma process in our hospital and many around the country is, the patients are met and greeted. EMS gives updates to the emergency department physicians. They have an opportunity if they think that something is going to be might require surgery, or if something develops when surgery is needed. But yeah, as they activate us, we come down, we work together. So it's the emergency department and our surgery trauma team interfacing with the patient and the condition together. And then once the decision is made that they have a surgical sort of need, we make efforts to get them to the operating room. So that triage process happens real time and together. But then once they go into surgery, we a lot of times we take them up to surgery. We do whatever surgery they need. And some gunshot wounds, to answer your question, don't always require surgery. Some can be managed what we call non-operatively. And those sometimes have to do with extremity injuries that don't involve blood vessels. It may not involve the bones, but sometimes they'll heal, maybe if it's not a fracture that requires orthopedic involvement. But there are areas of the body, the chest and abdomen, where need exploration, or sometimes in the head, of course. So there were some of those patients yesterday, and some required emergent operations, and they underwent that.
Can you give an update on the condition of victims?
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that to the...
Yeah, I mentioned at the outset that we have 6 patients that are in satisfactory condition, 5 children. We have 2 in serious condition, 1 adult, 1 child, and 1 patient yet in critical condition who's a child.
Another discharged this morning.
Correct. I believe 1 patient was discharged, yeah.
Yeah.
Started with 10.
Yeah, we're discharging 1, maybe 2 this morning.
6 in satisfactory, 3 in serious, and
2 in serious and 1 in critical condition.
1 in critical. Thank you.
The 2 in serious are expected to survive?
Yes, I believe so.
As well as 1 in critical?
I think it's more touch and go. I'd rather not share more detail at the present. So.
I have a question for the doctor. Really appreciate you sharing, Lana Zach, CBS News, the story about a member of the healthcare team who was there just supporting children, because I think the entire nation is feeling a bit of that. And as you said, your attention is on the families, and I understand that a member of your team was both working as a healthcare provider and a mother Can you tell us anything about the critical care pediatric nurse, Amy Jean Dreyer, and her actions yesterday?
We can't. I mean, our structure of how we protect patients and families doesn't allow us to comment specifically on circumstances. I'm sorry.
Understood.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give you an opportunity to praise one of your own.
I'm going to defer. I would say all the families are asking for prayers and support, so that's about as much as I'm willing to share.
We did have a number of people that have children at the school. One of our paramedics has a student there. I know several nurses have students there, so it was impactful for the whole organization. Yeah.
Thank you.
What was that initial response like? How many EMS personnel, how many ambulances, how many did you send out?
So the question is how many people responded to the scene. So initially it came in as the active shooter, so we activated Plan 1, which normally gets us about 6 ambulances and a supervisor and a doctor. But when we heard the 20 patients potential, then we go to Plan 3, which gets us about 20 ambulances, all of our medical direction team, everyone, and we have some mutual aid from other sources also back up our system. So we had a really, really great response. Our team was actually at Station 27, which is like 3 or 4 blocks away. And so we were ready to go. We waited for the police to give us the okay to come in, which took just a minute or two, and then we were on scene right away, and we started transporting right away. And I think we transported the first patient within less than 10 minutes of the call, the time the call came in. And then I think we're done transporting people after 25 minutes from the time the call came in.
With 20 ambulances, how many people?
I think we ended up using a dozen or so ambulances and transported 17, I believe is the number. The 3 different area hospitals. Other questions?
Can I just follow up
Please.
on your point? Can you tell us more about how the community, and specifically here at Hennepin Healthcare, given the connection to the school, how they're dealing with this?
I can't speak. Everyone deals with it individually differently, but I know our team is really resilient and strong, but we can train for this all you want, but ultimately it's still really challenging with little kids. Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah, we would add, in terms of grief and handling trauma, it's day 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, where it starts to slow down and those deeper thoughts start to come. So we're supporting our teams. They're heroes over there, but they're human also. So.
Yeah, and we have a great mental health resources as well. We have our psychiatric people come and met with the team. We do a hot wash. We have them chat with all the individual providers. We have other mental health resources in there. But it's usually, days or weeks later that really kind of hits home to everybody, and so we'll see how it goes. But with the kids, it's just once again a different element of the process that makes it more challenging. I think kids, and also when you get other first responders that are injured, that also is challenging. So, but I think overall our team's doing really well. We have a lot of trauma that happens and a lot of gunshot wounds. This one is just a little bit different, though. Other questions for anybody?
Could you address some of the efforts that were made on site in terms of life-saving measures that made the difference in terms of timing to get the patients to the hospital?
Sure, I'll let Dr. Robinson address that.
Yeah, and beyond the overwhelming majority of these shooting type scenarios, police are the ones that actually apply the tourniquets. That is a major key in trauma care to stop the bleeding. When we're dealing with a trauma patient, the first step is to stop the bleeding because they're not going to survive if they continue to bleed even for a few minutes. So the first couple steps is applying tourniquets to extremities to stop the bleeding, and then applying pressure to other wounds that are maybe in the torso or in the trunk, as well as applying seals over any holes that we might find in the chest from bullets or knives or anything. Those are the key things for initial life-saving measures, followed by helping people breathe if they're not breathing effectively, and then transporting them to the hospital.
So specific to this, I know that you are not disclosing a lot of information in respect to patient privacy, but specific to this, can you talk about some of the things that were done that really made a difference, and what that time frame was?
Yeah, leaving specifics out of it, the really critical things that were done was bleeding was controlled quickly, and people's torso, those wounds were bandaged and packed very quickly. That made a key difference because we've got upwards of 20 patients that are potentially bleeding to death, and that's a lot of blood that is needed very quickly if we need to give those folks blood at the hospital. So big credit to stopping the bleeding, and that all happened within 1 or 2 minutes of police getting on scene. After they secured the scene, they were the ones tending to the victims and applying those life-saving interventions.
I'll jump in and add a little bit. Time, Dr. Robinson talked about time, so we're pretty blessed here. Listen, our crews got there quick. We transported the hospital quick. They get the ED quick. The surgeons are there quick. Ultimately, they need surgery. They have to, sew up the areas that are bleeding. And so the quicker we can get them to surgery, and our surgical team is really the key. They talk about the golden hour. It's not an hour. You don't have an hour. You have minutes. So our team did great.
When you have a victim who is a bigger body mass and they are hit with gunfire, that's one thing. Of course, it depends on where they're hit. But when you have a child and it's a smaller body mass, can you talk about the scope of devastation when it's a child?
I mean, I think, so the psychological aspect, I think I mentioned a little bit earlier, how, managing one child is difficult. Managing a multitude of children at the same time takes an enormous amount of resources. But I think, if you're talking specifics about like ballistics and injury, am I getting your question? Like you're talking about what the bullet does to the specific body part?
Not necessarily, just that, you have a smaller body mass and a bullet.
Yeah.
And on the smaller body mass, that the potential for the devastation is
Yeah, so children, when they're injured, have a unique ability to sort of maintain their circulation and their life, sort of like their blood pressure and their heart rate and stuff, keep themselves alive until they don't. So adults are a little bit more telling. Children are seemingly, they sort of are kind of plugging along, and then all of a sudden they're not. And we'll talk a little bit about the minutes and seconds and sometimes matter. But in these circumstances, one bullet wound to a chest in a child, if it's in a place where there's big blood vessels and things that could end your life quickly, there's not as much room for error. And so you have to evaluate them quickly and manage them efficiently and fix basically the holes that are made from the bullets. But as far as I don't know if I'm answering your question correctly, but the stakes are a bit higher. I think would be the answer, the short answer. Yeah.
Please, go ahead.
Given the number of casualties, how remarkable is it that we are not hearing about more fatalities?
Yeah, I prayed about that on the way in yesterday when we were working on it, about how this was going to work out and what this was going to look like, because there were a lot of gunshot wounds in places that were meant to kill people, and if there is such a thing as a silver lining to this, there was less casualties than what possibly could have been. So it could have been a lot of fatalities, and it doesn't take away from the pain that those that did not survive are going through. But this was meant to kill people.
I'll just add, I think that also it's really a testament to the system, the trauma system that we've built in this organization.
I'd also say that the training that the kids did surprisingly paid off. They all laid on the floor. They covered each other up. That was key.
Yesterday, I asked police about how many kids or people were in the church when this happened. They're still trying to figure out a rough estimate. But for you that were at the scene, any idea of how many people were there, parents or other kids or parishioners that might have been in the church?
I think there was a few hundred. I think there was every class, which was about 15 plus people, and it was kindergarten through 6th, 7th grade, something like that. And then there's teachers, there's other prisoners in there, there were some parents in there. So I can't give you a clear number, but it was full. It was a lot of people. Yeah.
If I may ask about, you mentioned blood loss and blood supply. Memorial Blood is getting a lot of calls from people who want to donate or actually having to kind of manage it right now. I wondered if you could speak to the blood use and the need for blood.
Dr. Robinson?
Sure. Glad you mentioned that. There's actually a critical blood shortage right now in the state of Minnesota, and I implore everybody that's available to please donate blood. So we have it available for sick trauma patients and other people that need emergent blood. There's a critical shortage, and we have a few days on hand in the entire state. So please donate blood. The amount of blood that gets used in the ED, I'll defer to Dr. Wyatt and Dr. Gagan, as I wasn't in there at the time.
I can't comment to the exact number of units of blood that we pull from our own blood fridge in the emergency department or the units that we received from our blood bank, but it was pretty substantial. And I'm not sure about the operating room.
I mean, we use blood in the operating room. I don't know the exact number, but the thing, to echo the points, is that it's we're still using blood. So it's not just the morning of; it's ongoing.
Other questions? Chris?
Thanks. We can continue to ask more questions. I just wanted to mention, too, right here in this room yesterday is where we had our reunification center, right here in this room yesterday for families. The center was established right here as they waited for news about their loved ones and staff to bring updates from right across the street in our emergency department. And I want to recognize the really special team we have that specializes in caring for our gunshot victims and their families. And that's our Next Step program. Can you guys please stand? Yesterday when we talked about some experiences and things we saw, I saw firsthand in this room yesterday some of these team members. And can you just, if you guys were here, some of these guys, I saw them holding hands with families and praying with them, and it was just amazing, the work that this team does, and I just want to recognize you guys. It was just so touching and being there for them, so thank you for all the work you do. And if anybody wants to talk to them about the incredible work that they do for our patients, I just encourage you to talk to them. I don't know what we would do without your team, so thank you guys so much. And our reunification process is part of what our trauma team does. They sometimes our patients arrive and they're unconscious, obviously, and they can't tell us who they are. And in situations like this, we need to figure out who they are and contact family members. And so when there's a mass casualty event, you guys can explain this better than me, I'm sorry, but we need to figure things out, and we practice this. And when we practice this for events. So these guys can talk about it better, so I just wanted to bring that up. And I also wanted to mention, and Amy Carlson is with our foundation, we've had such a wonderful outpouring from our community members, and we want to thank everybody for that. For our families, they are so grateful and appreciative. And there's a website that people can go to, and it's up today, and it's hennepinhealthcare.org/sharingthecaring, and it's if anybody wants to contribute, and that's a place you can donate. Is that correct?
It is hennepinhealthcare.org/love.
Oh, that's even better. hennepinhealthcare.org/love. And
You can leave messages, and there's also ways to show your financial support to specific areas of the hospital affected from this tragedy.
yeah, and we just want to thank the community for their support for these families, what they're going through. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But
I'll address that too. At the scene, that was one of the bigger challenges that didn't go as well as we would like it to. We transported 17 people We were not able to identify all of them right away, so we're not able to let the parents know right away if their children were injured or what hospital they went to, and we'll have to figure out a better way to do that. I think that was very, very challenging, especially for the parents. I know parents were driving from hospital to hospital to hospital, and that had to be horrible for them. So we'll try to figure out a better way to do that. But that's something that's, because kids don't have IDs on them, we don't know who they are, and it's just a challenge. Anything else, anybody? Otherwise, thank you all for coming here. We'll be around if anyone has questions, too. Anything else? No? Okay, thanks. Yeah.
I meant your team.
What to do? Actually, I didn't even... Oh, is it? I got the teacher.
Excuse me, Jenny, sorry.
Therapy dogs. At least they did right now.
Let's just save a battery.
So if you talk to the guy with the...
Over the last 5-10 minutes.
I think I interviewed him when I worked in Minn. When I worked in Little Rock. I got sent to
Okay.
Kentucky.
Arkansas. Oh,
Yeah.
Arkansas. Okay.
There was a tornado in 2021 that went through southwestern Kentucky. I think if it's the same guy I'm thinking of, he's from Michigan. He goes to practice around the country to pray.
Oh my gosh. Is he a little?
I personally had some just like, I don't know, just simply because of like, he travels around. To me, this is the situation where it makes the most sense. It's a religious situation, you know.
Wait, are you saying he's a little sketchy?
No, he's very nice.
Okay.
He's very nice. We talked to him last
Okay,
time.
okay.
You know what?
Thank you, good.
not have mine with, but this one.
Did you have to go to the hospital?
Check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, check. Check. Is it muffled now? Check 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Check 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we gotta go to a place where we have a better vantage point. Maybe right here. Yeah, even right here is better. Yes, 18. 18. Okay, yes.
Would you like me to go handheld?
Yes, sure.
No, I thank you. That's great. That's on our whole time. Sorry. You don't want to talk about it. Understood. Yeah, for that. Thank you. Understood. I know. Understood. Yeah. Are you recording?
Yes. Would you like to kind of like start?
More than this, I want to focus on the expression on people's faces. So I'm gonna. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, since they're kind of moving around, I
Yeah.
just wanted to be handheld so I can kind
Yeah.
of move this
If you move, I move. And if you see me, like yeah, like.
Because I'm not gonna go in there, but I
Yes.
just want to be able to. Move
Sure.
a
Okay.
little bit if they're kind of like in
Okay. Visually, I'm gonna follow your lead. Okay, visually, and then so if I see, I'm gonna mention like everything that I see. I'll mention like how people are feeling, what people are doing, like those things. I'm gonna talk about people like hugging and stuff like that. And if I see something that it looks like you're not catching, then I'll point it out to you.
Okay.
And then they're gonna take VO. So.
And if you're kind of close to me, I'll be able to kind of hear you. And
Yeah.
Try to kind of follow your lead.
Can you hear me through your speakers or your headphones?
I don't think I can usually.
Okay.
No. And then, I'm pretty sure those are the therapy dogs over there.
Yeah,
There's, like,
yeah.
a golden retriever.
I'm just gonna be ready to go. Yeah, Cece, I'll get to that in just a second. I want to tell you that wrapping up in the last hour was a press conference from Hennepin Healthcare, HCMC. They have a lot of new details that I want to get to. Children's Minnesota also sharing new details with us as well. But first, let me give you a scene just outside Annunciation Church. Let me turn around and look at this with you. Every corner that I have been looking at has been packed with emotion. I've seen people in tears. I've seen a lot of hugs. I've seen kids, adults alike, sharing in conversation, reflecting on what happened, and just a lot of sadness and grief. As you can see, there's 2 crosses. We're going to get a little closer to that and show you the growing memorial, like you mentioned, just in front of those 2 crosses. But first, like you mentioned, just in about the last 10 minutes, the city identifying an additional victim. That brings a total injured to 18. It's unclear how the following hospital numbers will change with this new update, but like I said, in the last few hours, here is what local hospitals are saying. Children's Minnesota giving us an update today that 3 kids are still in the hospital. Initially, 7 of them were admitted yesterday. HCMC currently having 9 patients. 6 of them are in satisfactory conditions. 2 of them are in serious condition. Doctors do believe they will survive. There is 1 out of the 9 patients right now in critical condition. That leaves at HCMC 1 patient has been discharged since yesterday. Now, giving you a look at what has happened at HCMC behind the scenes. Now, all this, keep this in mind, a number of nurses and paramedics have kids who go to this school. That's according to a hospital official. They also credit some of the critical life-saving actions by police, like controlling the bleeding quickly. They say that happened within 1 to 2 minutes of police getting on scene. Ambulances then transported the first patient within the first 10 minutes of getting the call for help. Hospital officials say they were done transporting people in about 25 minutes after the call. And now get this, based on where the gunshot wounds were, a trauma surgeon, not an investigator, a trauma surgeon said the gunfire was meant to kill people. Go ahead and take a listen to how healthcare workers stepped in during this time of desperate need. Start on what?
Start on the dog.
Okay.
Your brother and his sister were they grew up together. You think that's a good, the best thing I would suggest if I ever did it again, I would get 1. I tried to wait at least a year, maybe 2 years to get the second one. And then that way, first one kind of trains the second one. And they have their own personalities.
Incredible. We just thank them so much. We thank healthcare workers so much for their incredible life-saving support. You're taking a look right now at Comfort Dogs here in front of the church. Clearly, comfort and healing, that is what this church and this community needs right now. And also take a listen to some of these stories. A hospital official says 1 child covered another child and took a shotgun blast to his back. That isn't the only story that I'm hearing. Right here this morning, I watched a man drop a white teddy bear in front of the church's sign. He tells me that his granddaughter was in critical condition at HCMC. She is just 12 years old, and her grandfather tells me that she had a bullet go through her head, that bullet coming out from the back of her head. Cece, really gut-wrenching details that I'm hearing this morning as this community, as our community finds a way towards healing. Back to you.
Good job, guys.
Oh, thanks.
Are you guys done for the day, or what?
Oh, we have a 12:30 hit.
What's kind of
Okay, that'd be wonderful. Wonderful stuff. Thanks very much. That's really great. I think you're right. I think it's maybe too much.
Your dog first, your therapy dog first.
Yeah, we're gonna go. We'll be back.
They've had some of them just like walking around on the sidewalk. And
Just about.
I'm keeping an eye on my badge.
Oh, okay, yeah. In about five minutes, we should be good. Okay, so first thing, so you can see the cross right from here? Okay, I'll start there. And then from there, I'll start by giving like an overview, and then I'll go to the cross, and then they'll take VO. Like when I first start off, and when I give a lay of the land, can you see cameras, or not really?
You can't see many everything that's
Okay. Yeah.
I guess it depends how long
Can you start on me tighter and then go wide, and then go to the cross? Yeah. Hey, can you have Cece toss to me by saying you have new details from hospitals, right? Yeah. Or no, just like have her ask me about new details from the hospital, HCMC. Okay. Mic check 2 3 4 5 6 7. Mic check 2 3 4 5 6 7.
And then did you want to mention the chalk drawings?
Maybe in the tag. In the tag.
Do we have a sound bite?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
There's VO too.
Okay, great.
Do you hear her when she said in the last set we have VO?
Sometimes.
Okay. Okay.
Because sometimes they say that we're going to expect. Is it VO then chalk?
Yes. And then chalk. Uh-oh. Yeah, good afternoon, Cece. Hennepin Healthcare, as well as Children's Minnesota, they have some new numbers about their patients hospitalized right now that I want to share with you. But first, what you're looking at right now, and that's community. That's not coming from me. Those words are coming from a young woman named Grace, who I was just talking to moments ago. She was just sitting here on the ground, taking all this in. Why don't you take a look at this scene here with me? Look at all these people. Grace tells me the longer she sits here and the longer she observes, the more real this feels. She lives right here, and so yes, this is all so jarring and so tragic. But I do want to point you to the cross. You can see this stands out, and a lot of people have been going to the cross and asking for prayer by the man who's holding it. You can see him right there in the black hat. His name is Dan, and he's not from here. He's actually from Michigan. I went up and talked to him, and he tells me his story is just to really go wherever in the country God tells him to go. He goes, he carries the cross and offers people a kind of hope. And the cross, of course, symbolizing it is a beacon of light to those who believe. And so that is what Dan from Michigan says he does. Recently, he was in Texas just after the flooding, and today he is here in Minneapolis. Now, in the last hour or so, the city identified an additional victim, bringing the total injured to 18. It's unclear right now how these hospital numbers will change with this new update, but in the last few hours, here is what local hospitals are reporting. Children's Minnesota saying 3 kids are still in the hospital. Initially, 7 of them were admitted yesterday. Turning to HCMC, they say they currently have 9 patients. 6 of them are in satisfactory conditions. 2 of them are in serious conditions, but doctors do believe they will survive. And 1 patient right now is in critical condition. Now, I want to just peel back the curtain based on what HCMC, a trauma surgeon, had to say. Doctors like him, they were crediting some of the critical life-saving actions by police, like controlling the bleeding quickly. They say that happened within 1 to 2 minutes of police getting on scene. Ambulances, about 20 of them, then transported the first patient within the first 10 minutes of getting the call for help. Hospital officials say they were done transporting people in about 25 minutes just after the call. And get this, based on where the gunshot wounds were, the trauma surgeon, not an investigator, but the trauma surgeon said the gunfire was meant to kill people. Take a listen to how healthcare workers stepped in to help. Okay. Do you want to start here and then come to me here? Okay. Yeah, and I want to end on this picture right here. It says, Annunciation strong. God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. It says, I love you. I saw a little girl writing that on the steps of the church in chalk, as you can see. An incredible show of faith, Cece, for these children to say that God is good all the time. I'll send things back to you.
I had like 2 minutes.
Hey. Hey, how much time? Okay. All right. I'm all right. Hey, do they do Sunrise Extra when Olivia's off? Oh, okay. Where do you do it? Oh, okay. I was wondering, since she was off, how that works. Okay. So who does it? She does it or Rob? Oh. Hmm. Got it. Hey. Yeah, doesn't sound like that. Yeah. Let's have it.
This is a local news update from Wave Now.
Good Thursday afternoon, everyone. I'm Myra Ansari here for Wave Now. A Louisville man appeared before a judge for the first time this morning after police say that he stole a vehicle with a 9-month-old baby inside. Brandon Conley is charged with kidnapping and theft. Police were called to South Brook and East Broadway yesterday on a report of a car that had been stolen with a young child inside after the parents walked away from the vehicle. Minutes later, police were sent to Jewish Hospital after a baby was dropped off in the lobby. Officers were called to locate Conley and the vehicle at West Jefferson and South 10th Street, where they followed him for several blocks and then took him into custody. Conley pled not guilty and was given a $250,000 bond. He's set to be back in court on September 5th. After questions of the festival's return, Councilman J.P. Lininger is confirming that Jazz in Central Park will be held. Jazz in Central Park will be taking place on Sunday, September 28th from 2 to 5 p.m. in the historic Central Park. That's at 1340 South 4th Street. The festival was initially supposed to be taking place last Sunday, but Lininger told the public what people need to know about the event, that it's not going to happen this weekend. He noted that he would announce a later date. Jazz in Central Park is a beloved District 6 tradition with a long-standing history in Central Park. Each year, it brings neighbors together for live music, food, and community fellowship. Each year, Jazz in Central Park typically draws 5,000 to 6,000 people to the one-day event. I'm Myra Ansari. I will see you on Wave News at 3 o'clock today. Don't go anywhere. Meteorologist Brian Good is going to be in next with your forecast.
Lulu? I'm all right. How about you? 30 out. Hello, everyone. It is 55 minutes after the hour. I'm Wave meteorologist Brian Good. Hope you guys are enjoying your Thursday. It's been a beautiful setup, a little warmer than the past couple of days, but still very, very comfortable outside. Now, signs of change depends on which way you're looking. Now, if you look to the south, you're going to see just some high-level clouds way in the distance there looking from the harbors in Jeffersonville. But if you're looking from the south toward the north, well, it's a little bit more of a cloudier setup, and that's where our system is coming from today, dropping in from Indiana and heading southbound on I-65. And it does have a bit of rain with it, at least rain drops. Whether or not that's reaching the ground, that's a whole other ordeal. We'll get to that in just a second. Current temperature outside, despite the idea that we've had some clouds in the area, temperatures have been on the climb. 77 here in Louisville, 81 in Jeffersonville, but still only 68 in North Vernon. And the main reason for that, cloud cover. And at times, some of that rain drop action, at least it's falling from the cloud, that actually can still cool the air to keep you below normal in temperature, but the raindrop may still stay above the tree line, so you never actually even see it, but it is affecting your weather. This system is going to be aiming more to the south and east as we head into the next 24 hours. The majority of this is already moving into Ohio. It's almost got a backward C shape to it as it tracks across areas of central portions there of the Buckeye State. Meanwhile, the tail portion of that is lagging behind just a bit on the southwest side. That part will still remain active tonight while you're trying to sleep, in the form of mainly a sprinkle or two. Most of you will stay dry, but this is different. This is not what we've had each night this week. It's been fairly quiet, right, with mainly clear skies and chilly temperatures in the 40s and cool 50s into the city. Tonight, a little more cloud action in play, so that's going to keep the thermometer up a few more degrees as well. We're in between really two areas where you can get rain. This one's not going to be a factor for us. It's going to head down to the south, and actually it's blocking any type of decent rainfall from coming back in the Ohio River Valley. So this is the main show we have for the next couple of days, and there's just not a lot to work with on that. So the game plan for the next 12 hours, we'll hold on to at least a 10% chance for a sprinkle or two as we enter this evening, and perhaps again for tomorrow as well. All good. Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
We're in a tight corner here.
Is there anybody in next?
Do you guys need to sit next to each other?
No.
Okay.